Good evening and welcome to the Friends public meeting. I'm Bonnie Hawley, Executive Director of Friends of Santa Cruz State Parks, and thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for supporting our beautiful state parks and beaches. Just a little bit of housekeeping up front. First, this meeting is being recorded. Please keep yourselves muted. And the chat is live. If you'd like to put questions in there, we'll do a Q&A at the end of the meeting. I'd also like to welcome our Friends board members and our Cooperating Association liaison, Mike McMenemy. We also have our board chair, Kurt Simmons. You'll be hearing from him in just a little bit, and want to welcome our board members. Also welcome to the park volunteers, field and program staff, our friends at Miller Maxfield Consulting, and our dear colleagues at California State Parks. It's great to have you all here tonight. You will be hearing from our Superintendent, Chris Spohr, and our Deputy Superintendent, Jordan Burgess, a little bit later. I'd also like to just take a minute to recognize the other park support organizations, kind of our sister organizations that help our local state parks, and there are quite a few of them. Coastside State Parks Association, Mountain Parks Foundation, Waddell Creek Association, the Portola and Castle Rock Foundation, Parks California, Semper Virens Fund, Save the Redwoods League, Santa Cruz Mountain Trail Stewards, and the Advocates for the Forest of Nicene Marks. So who are we and where do we work? Friends is a nonprofit operating partner of California State Parks in the Santa Cruz District. We support parks in Santa Cruz County and coastal San Mateo County, and we help bring our community's love and support for our parks to our work to ensure our parks are thriving and available to all. We support a diverse array of 34 parks and beaches, which are all listed on the right-hand side of the slide. Can you find your favorite park, or do you have more than one favorite park? I know it's hard to choose. We are so blessed with such amazing parks, and they are protecting resources, but making them accessible to the public. We have everything. We have redwood parks, coastal beaches, state historic parks, and places that are preserving precious cultural and archaeological resources, as well as rare adobes, ranches, and one of the tallest lighthouses on the West Coast. Our parks also provide critical habitat for all manner of plants and animals, including our beloved elephant seals at Año Nuevo. We work hand in glove every day with state parks on behalf of the community, and we are so fortunate to work with them every day. I'm going to turn it over to our local state park leaders, District Superintendent Chris Spohr, and he will be followed by Deputy District Superintendent Jordan Burgess.
Great. Well, thanks, Bonnie. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you. Yeah, really nice to hear the list of partners. We are very blessed to have such great partners in this district. But I always appreciate a chance to reflect on our partnership with Friends of Santa Cruz and the ever-increasing list of positive ways that you add value to our parks and programs through the co-management agreement, or now the nonprofit operating agreement as it has been renamed. Top of mind, of course, is that we are still very much in recovery from the CZU fire and the potent storms from 2023. And the tasks of recovery far outpace the district's ability to respond. It's really only through partnership that we have the capacity to meet these ongoing needs. So we are especially grateful for Friends' ongoing support for the resilience planning at Seacliff and New Brighton. The community connections and overall ability to clearly share information really was so much better at the recent public meeting because of you all. And as we create more access at Big Basin and visitation continues to go up, 200,000 and counting, it's awesome. Your support with reservations, ongoing operations, our shuttle pilot program, continued planning to complete the facilities management plan is essential. And now, happily, we're on to matching donors on exciting new future projects for the rebuild. Friends continues to take on projects that make the district shine That recent collaboration to create the new staging area at Año Nuevo turned out beautifully. The new APMs and signage refresh at kiosks are both highly visible improvements we appreciate. And I know we can count on facing new and different challenges in the future. I'm very glad we'll be doing it in partnership with friends. So I'd like to now introduce the Santa Cruz Deputy District Superintendent, Jordan Burgess.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Hi, everyone. My name is Jordan Burgess, and I am the Deputy District Superintendent of the Santa Cruz District, as Chris just mentioned. You just saw the map and the list that Bonnie shared, but our district is quite large. So to just go in a little bit deeper, I've got some quick facts I'd like to give for context. In our district, we manage 11% of the parks in the state park system. We've got 65,000 acres that we manage, 2/3 of which is forested. We operate in 3 counties. We have 44 miles of coastline, over 400 miles of roads and trails, annual visitation of over 10 million people. And when we are fully operational, we have 12 campgrounds with nearly 900 campsites. So as you can tell, it is quite a large operation. So with this many parks and this much space, we have a lot of opportunity to creatively bring visitors into our parks and engage with them to build future park stewards. And at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity for challenging situations to present themselves. In both of these situations, we are lucky to be able to turn to our strong partnership with Friends of Santa Cruz State Parks. The steady commitment to making sure our parks thrive is very much appreciated. Our 2 organizations work so closely together that it feels second nature. So as Chris said, I always appreciate opportunities like this meeting to take time to reflect on our annual operations and the great things that are accomplished through this partnership. Thank you so much for having me here tonight, Bonnie and team, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you, Jordan. Those are amazing statistics. I hadn't heard some of those, so it's great to have those.
Absolutely.
So next, I'd like to introduce Kurt Simmons, who is the chair of the board of directors of Friends, and he's going to say a few words on behalf of the board. You're muted.
Am I unmuted there? I thought this was done in-house. Sorry. My name is Kurt Simmons. I want to welcome all of you to this public meeting. It's so exciting to see so many people here. I'm on the board of directors. We're a nonprofit, and so we have a board to sort of oversee the organization and look at the budget and go in partnership with the state parks to approve our funding for different projects. We're community members. We're volunteers on the board. We come from a variety of backgrounds. We have a lawyer, we have financial planner, we have an environmental planner, we have teachers, we have somebody who's been in the nursery business, we have me, an optometrist, all kinds of people. But we're all passionate about the parks. That's our focus. And many of us have been on the board for a number of years. Some have been on the board for just a few months. So we have a variety of really good people who work well together. We enjoy each other. We like working together. And we want to just let everyone know who's on this meeting what our organization does. And you're going to find out a lot in the coming presentations. So, and I want you all to know there's ways to get involved with our organization, either through volunteering. You can work for Friends. Friends, somebody will say how many members we have working for Friends. It's a lot. You can be a donor. All different kinds of ways to get involved, and we hope you do. And thanks for attending this public meeting.
Thank you, Kurt. That was great. We have a wonderful board. They are hardworking, they are passionate, and you heard that come through, I think, in Kurt's remarks. So I want to just kick this off to my colleagues. So you might be wondering exactly how do we support parks? Well, we do that through services, projects, and programs. And Chris mentioned quite a few of them, but you're going to hear a little bit more. So on behalf of our entire team, you're going to hear from 9 of our staff members who are going to talk about these projects and programs and services that we provide in partnership with state parks. So first, I would like to introduce Friends Field Operations Director, Paul Martinez.
Thank you, Bonnie. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to take a moment to recognize and celebrate the incredible work of our visitor services staff, both our seasonal aides and our full-time lead senior aides. They play a vital role in day-to-day operations of our beautiful Santa Cruz and San Mateo State Parks. These dedicated individuals are the friendly faces you see at our park kiosks, welcoming visitors, answering questions, and helping ensure that everyone has a safe and enjoyable experience. They work in close partnership with California State Park staff, supporting the smooth operation of our campgrounds and day use areas, and helping maintain the high standards our parks are known for. Whether it's managing camping check-ins, assisting with annual passes, or simply offering a warm smile and helpful guidance, our aides are often the first point of contact for visitors, and they consistently represent our parks with professionalism, care, and pride. Their work is not only essential to park operations, but also to the overall visitor experience. They help create lasting memories for families, travelers, and naturalists from all over the world. Thank you for listening. And now to Peg Danielson, our Operations Director.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you giving that look at our field staff program, and that is one of the major ways that we support state park operations. Another focus of the organization is providing financial support for state park staffing and for supplies, either paid directly to parks or on their behalf. One of the largest categories is payroll for state employees. Looking back over the last couple of years, we have been funding 33 interpreters who provide field trips and other educational programs to park visitors, 2 facilities maintenance staff at Castle Rock, and additional seasonal support for the state park program. We fund training for state park employees, from wilderness first responders to supervisory techniques for the different staff members, outdoor learning school, techniques for exhibit maintenance and cleaning, and conferences to learn the best new educational techniques. We also support supplies for volunteers and park programs. This is one of my favorite categories because I get to see all the checks when they come through and go, wow, I never paid for that before. On a day-to-day basis, it's everything from animal feed to vet bills for Wilder's animal program, coal for blacksmiths, baking supplies, masa for tortillas, candle wax, art supplies, leather, maintenance for a saltwater display tank. But some of the more unusual items have included repairs for a bear pelt, preserved squid for a junior ranger program, chestnuts for roasting at the holiday event at Wilder Ranch, kinetic sand for Henry Cowell. I'm not really sure what that one is, but international code signal flags, and the list goes on and on and on. So that's a pretty fun thing that we do. Feed the Force takes care of the people who take care of our parks and beaches on the 4th of July. This annual event provides support for over 150 people on a very, very busy day. It's our way of saying thank you. And as our program goes on, my colleagues are going to tell you more about our projects and programs that we are able to fund on behalf of state parks. And I think at this point, if we could go to the next slide, because you're not quite done with me yet, going to talk a little bit about the park revenue, which is one of the major sources for funding for Friends. It's authorized in the operations agreement that Chris mentioned. And it allows us to keep a portion of the fees collected in the parks, such as day use, camping, firewood, showers, and use them to support our local operations, services, projects, and programs. And this aspect of our funding goes right back to our friendly and effective field staff. We couldn't do it without them. So next, you're going to hear from Lauren Kitayama, our program manager, who will tell you more about some of our community programs. Lauren?
Thanks, Peg. We've had an incredible year connecting with our community and expanding access to our beautiful state parks and beaches. We're excited to be celebrating 10 years of the Kids to Parks program, which helps cover transportation costs for field trips, making it easier for Title I schools to bring students out to explore the parks and beaches across the Santa Cruz District. This includes select schools in San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. Over the decade, Kids to Parks has created the opportunity for more than 20,000 students to experience high quality, hands-on, interpreter-led educational programs in our parks. And the demand for this program keeps growing, and we're doing everything we can to make sure it stays funded and accessible for years to come. We're also proud to continue offering beach wheelchairs free of charge at 5 local state beaches, making it easy for everyone to enjoy the sand and surf. Behind the scenes, we're working with our park partners to keep the program running smoothly. Our goal is to make sure we serve the public well while keeping things manageable for the park staff. This summer, we gave the entire fleet of wheelchairs a full checkup and tune-up just in time for Shared Adventures Day on the beach. And when it comes to community engagement, we've been really busy. We've done over 40 events this year. That's about an event every 9 days. Some highlights include marching in the Santa Cruz Pride Parade, Callie the Quail leading the way. You can see the photo there. We chatted with over 500 folks at the Watsonville Strawberry Festival. We hosted 3 unique park experiences, including a magical night hike in the Forest of Nicene Marks, where we listened for owls and saw glowing millipedes, a book talk with Marnie Filing at the Natural Bridges Visitor Center, where we learned about the nature that's in our backyard, and a drawing course with Harrison Howard, where we learned to kind of capture the majestic redwoods of Nicene Marks with just a few pen strokes. We helped launch 2 exciting new park events. Art in the Park at Wilder Ranch was this spring. It showcased local artists. And Ocean Fest in June at Seacliff, which brought together marine conservation partners for a fun and educational day by the sea. We're hoping both of those become annual events. And of course, we supported the long-established annual park events like Welcome Back Monarchs and the Migration Festival at Natural Bridges, Harvest Festival and the Old Fashioned 4th of July at Wilder Ranch, the Coastal Wildflower Day at Half Moon Bay, and our monthly open houses at the Castro Adobe. All in all, it's been a fun and kind of busy year. And up next, you're going to hear from Kat Bailey, our philanthropy and sales director. She's going to tell you all about our park stores.
Hello, everyone. I am Kat Bailey, Philanthropy and Sales Director for Friends, and I oversee 5 park stores that are located in our local state parks at Wilder Ranch, Natural Bridges, the Santa Cruz Mission, New Brighton, and Seacliff State Beach. I also run the park store online and a monthly pop-up park store at our Castro Adobe open house events each month. So my job, which I love, is to find and develop merchandise that reflects the best of our local state parks. I put a lot of thought into finding products that are meaningful, but also expand upon and support the educational programming that happens every day in our state parks. Visitors can feel good about shopping in our park stores because they know that revenue from that new sweatshirt will help support their favorite state parks and keep them thriving and available to all. But our park stores are more than just gift shops. They are an extension of the park visitors' experience and important places where folks can be oriented to the park and meet park staff and volunteers. They are also an opportunity to give back to our local park stores because when you make a purchase there, 100% of that revenue stays local. You can even opt to round up your purchase to the nearest dollar, and those funds go directly to support the Kids to Parks program that Lauren just spoke about. If you decide to become a member of Friends of Santa Cruz State Parks, we do offer a 15% discount in our 5 park stores and the online park store. And we even add an extra discount every year for our annual holiday sale in early December. And now let's hear from Ann Myers, who is our operations coordinator.
All right. Thank you, Kat. Hi, everyone. So my name is Ann Myers. I work directly with our marketing team, Miller Maxfield, and together we collaborate with state parks to promote upcoming events and, most importantly, to provide the community with the latest information about parks. Visit our website, that'smypark.org, for updates on park and trail conditions, events, trail camps, and camping. You can also make a camping reservation for Rancho del Oso on our website. And while you're there, subscribe to our biweekly newsletter. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and now Blue Sky to stay connected. Now back over to Kat and Nina Rose, our administrative director.
Hi, I'll start. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nina Rose Odegaard, and I am the administrative director here at Friends. And I work with my colleague, Kat Bailey, as part of the Friends Fund Development Team. We're going to touch on several of the ways in which the community supports local state parks and beaches through Friends of Santa Cruz State Parks. First of all, let me mention that the generosity of our donors allows us to fund educational, cultural, and outreach programs at 34 local state parks and beaches. I will highlight 3 of the main ways people donate and then hand it over to Kat, and she'll talk about our tribute table program and grants. So one of the most common ways to contribute to our beloved state parks and beaches is to join the Friends community via membership. Members join by making an initial contribution and then commit to an annual or monthly donation. This provides us with a dependable income stream that can be relied upon to support our ongoing programming, as well as allow us to pivot and meet unexpected challenges as they arise. Of course, membership comes with some perks, as Kat mentioned, and the most popular one is that discount at our brick and mortar stores, each of which has a wide selection of gifts, as you saw on the last slide, and merch and educational materials thoughtfully curated to each of the parks. New this year, that same discount is available when shopping online. That being said, far and away, the most satisfying part of being a member is that each time you visit one of your state parks or beaches, you have the knowledge that you are doing your part to keep them up and running for everyone to enjoy. Another way that we bring in funding is through our CARS program. For the last 5 years, we have been partnering with CARS, which stands for Charitable Adult Rides and Services, a fellow nonprofit that provides transportation solutions for seniors. This program offers a fantastic way for people to get rid of unwanted vehicles, even those in considerable disrepair, and contribute to Friends at the same time. It accepts all types of donated vehicles, including cars, trucks, trailers, boats, RVs, motorcycles, campers, off-road vehicles, planes, heavy equipment, farm machinery, and most other motorized vehicles. Vehicle pickup is free of charge, and the resulting donation is tax deductible. In the 5 years that we've had this program, it has brought in over $21,000. Just between us, someone on Friends staff has offered a dinner to the first staff member to bring in a donation of a boat or an airplane. If you'd like to partner with me and make this happen, please let me know. A third way our community supports Friends' mission of state parks that are thriving and available to all is through planned giving. This can mean naming Friends as a beneficiary in a will or a living trust, retirement account, life insurance policies, or other income sources. Gifts can be a percentage of the estate or a specific amount, a piece of property, or items of value. This process is made easy with the help of a financial advisor, and we have suggested language on our website to use when including Friends in estate planning. Okay, now over to Kat.
Great. Thank you, Nina Rose.
Mhm.
So I work with Nina Rose to administer the Tribute Table program, which gives the community the opportunity to donate a beautiful redwood picnic table, as you can see on the slide, to a local state park in honor of a loved one. Tribute tables provide vital infrastructure to our state parks and give visitors a place to picnic with loved ones or just rest and take in the view. And it's a beautiful way to memorialize a loved one or honor a major life milestone. In addition to that, I'm also the grant writer for Friends, and I look for funding that supports programs like the ones Lauren just spoke about, particularly the Kids to Parks program and the Beach Wheelchair program. Friends also has specific funds that the community can contribute to, such as the Farm Animal Program at Wilder Ranch. We've also created specific funds in response to recent natural disasters, including the Seacliff Resilience Fund, the Wilder Ranch Recovery Fund, and the Big Basin Fire Recovery Fund. Operations Director Peg Danielson is going to tell you a little bit more about those recovery efforts at Big Basin.
Thanks, Kat. Well, sadly, this has been going on long enough that I was looking over my notes for our last public meeting. And at that public meeting, we were already talking about the fire response and recovery. And I updated you then about the fire fund, which is still a happening thing. So if you want to get involved to help with the current efforts at Big Basin, that fire fund is still open on our website. That's mypark.org. Might as well give it a plug. At that point, we had created some new videos about the fire and a virtual tour of the park, and those videos are still available to watch on that'smypark.org. So take a look. Work on the park has continued, and we've continued to be involved. Friends' innovative day use reservation system, combined with a small amount of first come, first served parking, has welcomed more than 200,000 visitors to the park since reopening on July 22nd, 2022. Lots of twos in that sentence. A shuttle program with Friends Visitor Service aides staffing the kiosk has increased access during busy summer weekends and holidays. Friends and Parks working together have brought camping back to Big Basin at the Coastal Rancho del Oso unit. It has 5 fabulous campsites plus en route bike camping, and those sites are very popular with park visitors. If you're looking for a beautiful night away, you should check availability and make a reservation at that'smypark.org. And if you need a personal recommendation, talk to my colleague, Kat Bailey, because she is a dedicated camper at RDO. So we're going to go back to Anne, and she's going to tell you about another recovery effort that's been a big focus for the past couple of years.
Yeah. So Chris mentioned this as well. The historic storms in early 2023 caused catastrophic damage to our coastline with devastating impacts to Seacliff. And as we do, we quickly launched a Seacliff Resilience and Recovery Fund to provide short-term support, followed by investments in long-term work in the park. So far, we've raised $148,000. Last year, we co-hosted the first Seacliff public meeting, followed by a webinar. And just last week, we supported the Seacliff Community Presentation Hybrid event with help by Miller Maxfield, thank you, where Parks reported on the findings from the Sea Level Rise and Vulnerability Assessment and Shoreline Adaptation Alternative Study. So if you're interested in supporting our efforts or you want to learn more about that study, check out seacliffresilience.org. We look forward to working with state parks and the community to build a resilient park for generations to come, just like what we're doing with Big Basin. Thanks. Now you'll hear from Ann Weidlich, our Friends HR associate, Ann with an E.
I'm the one who spells it correctly. And Ann knew I was going to say that. My name is Ann Weidlich. I am the HR assistant at Friends, and I work closely with Paul. And when I'm not doing that, I'm talking about the Wilder Ranch Recovery Fund. Wilder Ranch's historical complex flooded in early 2024 after 4 inches of rain fell throughout the night of January 21st, causing Wilder Creek to overflow its banks. Mud inundated the historic dairy barn, and the surrounding historical fencing was washed away. Nearly 3 feet of flooding in the building housing the visitor center and the park store necessitated its closure, and while it has not yet reopened, we have created a temporary visitor center and park store in the Meter House. But right away, Friends created the Wilder Ranch Recovery Fund to accept and encourage donations specifically for the recovery efforts at the park. This fund allowed Friends to help state parks immediately with their first cleanup efforts, and we will continue to assist parks throughout subsequent phases of recovery. A big thank you to all who contribute to Friends. Your donations really do make a positive difference in our local state parks and beaches. And now to talk about historic preservation projects. Here is our preservation project manager, Jessica Kush.
Thank you, Anne. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the major accomplishments that have gone down at the Castro Adobe in the last few years. So this year we are celebrating the 175th anniversary of the building of the Castro Adobe with special events, and there's also a lot of cool new swag, so you got to check that out. And last year, we completed the interpretive planning and fabrication work that has turned our historic Adobe building into an interactive house museum. The feedback from the public has been very positive as the building has really come alive with touchable exhibits, multimedia, and historic furnishings. So we opened the doors to the building to showcase new interpretive elements. Some of those I just wanted to highlight. The archaeological shadow box, which showcases some of the artifacts found at the site that illustrates daily life at the rancho. We have touchable exhibits showing the vaquero way of life with tack, brands, historic saddle, and maps. Historic furnishings that allow the visitor to see, feel, and touch the late 1840s era rooms. We have specialty lighting and glass walls to highlight the graffiti wall, multimedia offerings where one can learn to dance in the Fandango room. That might be fun. Or watch a story of the sala and moving illustrations. So those are just a few of the elements that have made the historic Adobe building really come alive and invite visitors to contemplate if these walls could talk, what would they say to you? Other work at other parks includes collaborating on the furnishing plan for Pigeon Point Light Station, along with helping to assess some of the site improvements at Wilder Ranch. Friends has funded the restoration of the water-powered saw, which is still in progress, but on track. Friends also continues to develop and expand the Edna Kimbrough archive adjacent to the Castro Adobe. So it's been a really exciting time for preservation projects at state parks. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Ann Myers. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So here at Friends, we also continue to collaborate with state parks and other local associations to fund various projects across the Santa Cruz District, which includes parks and beaches in Santa Cruz and coastal San Mateo counties. Over the past year, we've partnered with Coastside State Parks Association to support the building of a new staging area at Año Nuevo State Beach. We are currently working with them on a solar and battery backup project at Año as well, and that should be done just in time for elephant seal season. Over the past years, we've also teamed up with the Santa Cruz Mountains Trail Stewardship to repair a couple of trails that provide neighborhood access to Seacliff. We've also funded an owl box project, which you can see here at Wilder Ranch. These are just a few of our highlights of all the things we've funded in our parks. And you'll hear now from Annabella Sakazai, our finance director, on how we fund it all.
Thank you, Anne. Okay. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and thank you so much. Let's start. Friends' mission and partnership means that all activities and financial operations directly support state parks initiatives and operations. Looking at Friends' 2 years of audited financials, you will see a section called Contributed Revenue. This is where individuals, businesses, and foundations provide financial support via donations. The next line, called Kiosk Revenue, includes park revenue from various sources like camping, days, showers, and wood sales. The third line, Store Sales, includes revenue from selling merchandise and educational materials at park stores. In the last section, Other Income includes things like interest earned on short-term liquid assets, as well as one-off items like refunds. All revenue from each section flows directly back to state parks, which you will see in the expense section. Starting off with cost of goods sold, this section includes purchases of store merchandise and associated shipping costs for all park stores. The second line, called California State Park Support, includes direct reimbursements for interpretive and maintenance staffing, supplies, and services. This is an example of how revenue directly supports state parks. The next line, called interpretive support, includes interpretive staffing as well as services and supply reimbursements. You'll notice that in FY 22-23, that interpretive staffing was included in this section, but moved to California State Park Support in FY 23-24. Overall, funding across these two categories increased 22% year over year. The next line, called operating expenses, includes various expenses from insurance to program supplies. The final line, personnel, includes three categories of staffing: program staff, senior visitor service aides, and seasonal visitor service aides. Over 60% of all personnel consists of visitor service aides and leads. These visitor service aides and leads operate kiosks to collect park revenue. This is yet another example of how we provide services and funds to support state parks operations. In the final section, net income is the difference between total revenue and total expenses in each respective year. In FY 22-23, net income reflects the continuing impact of the pandemic and the CZU fires and the atmospheric rivers. These events drove income to historical lows. Net income in the following year reflects the first year of a 5-year recovery period. Friends is working closely with state parks on improving financial operations while increasing support for state parks. I'd like to hand it over to our Executive Director, Bonnie Holly.
Thanks, Annabella, and thanks to all of our speakers. I hope you learned something that maybe you didn't already know about Friends or our local state parks. It's really an amazing story. So looking ahead, we're still all working together to help our parks continue to recover from the impacts of COVID, the CZU fire, the atmospheric river. And in these current uncertain times, our community is turning to parks more than ever as places that are critical for solace, a sense of community, and places for health and well-being. So I just want to thank you all for the love and support that you show our parks by visiting and paying your entrance fees, volunteering, donating, becoming a Friends member, and shopping in our park stores. Your unwavering support helps us ensure our parks are thriving and available to all. So with that, we have time for some questions. And also, I'd like to invite you to visit our website, that's mypark.org. The operations reports that talk about what we've been working on in more detail, and our financials are all there for you to review. And Jennifer, do we have some questions?
We have no questions at this time. Feel free to write your question in chat or type in a chat that you would like to be unmuted to ask a question.
All right, well, thank you, Eileen. Thanks for the kind words. All right, well, seeing no questions, I just want to thank you very much for joining us and for all of your support. And thank you and good evening.